Well, good morning and welcome back to another video, another brisk, beautiful morning out with my camera. And this morning I'm out and about just hunting around for different compositions, no expectations, and just seeing what I can come up with this morning. So I thought I would talk in this video about the things I've learned over the years of doing landscape photography. So I've been doing landscape photography now for, I'd say about nearly 5 years, I reckon. I picked up a camera when I was about 21, 22. But before that, I always used to dabble with GoPros, making films and videos and that sort of thing. But I really fell in love with landscape photography probably when I was about 21, 22 years old. And over this 5 years or so, I've learned quite a few things. One of the biggest thing, I think, with landscape photography is to be on location well over an hour before sunrise. So right now it's about 6:45 in the morning. It's very, very dark. The sunrise is at 8 AM, so it's an hour and 15 minutes away. But already you can see by the colour of my face, I'm not having to light myself with my torch. The ambient glow is just magnificent. And this is the time of day where you can get some really, really unique photos. A bit like the other day when I was at Colmers Hill and I got that shot right at the beginning of that cloud inversion. That shot was taken about an hour and 10 minutes before sunrise itself. I think it just stays a lot colder. The light and the pastel colours in the sky are a lot more muted, and it makes for some really, really unique perspectives and colours in images. And it's probably one of my favourite times to be out, deep into blue hour, almost waiting for the ambient light to come out is one of the best times. But then saying that, it can go against you. It can be the opposite, and you can stand around waiting for half an hour to an hour for some light to show. Luckily this morning we've got no clouds in the sky, the ambient glow is really, really nice, and I could take some pictures now if I found some compositions, but I haven't at the moment. But the light is magnificent, and it's worth standing here and taking it all in and enjoying it. And just waiting, because there's nothing worse than rushing. Just waiting around to see if you can get anything unique. And the colours right now are lovely. They really are lovely. So secondly, one of the biggest things I think you guys need to invest in for landscape photography is a good tripod. Now, it's only recently, maybe in the last 2 years, I'd say, since owning this Mac 3, that I've lived by this statement of owning a really, really good tripod for landscape photography, because they are quite expensive, and realistically it's just 3 legs that hold your camera. So why do you need to spend a lot of money on an expensive tripod? And it took me a few years to figure this one out. I recently did a video last week on the Benro Mac 3 2 years on, and I've had this tripod for 2 years now, and I wouldn't leave the house now without it. It is absolutely phenomenal, and having a good tripod that is sturdy in all sorts of weather can help you get so many unique images. I can't tell you how many times I've been out before having this tripod with other tripods in the past, with funny center columns, legs that won't lock properly, that are very temperamental, that wobble in any sort of wind. and it is so frustrating as a photographer having a tripod that is not absolutely rock solid. So in most circumstances this thing will be absolutely fine in most weather, doing long exposures at long focal lengths. A bit like this morning, we've got about 10 or 11 mile an hour winds. It's not ideal really for photography, there's no mist. The light is lovely, mine, but I'm struggling for compositions. But I'm doing about 4, 5, 6 second exposures in around at about 150 mil with my 70 to 200, and they're coming out tack sharp, and this is all because of the tripod. So it is one of the biggest things to invest in other than your camera, but once you've invested in it and got yourself something really, really good, as long as you look after it, it will last you a lifetime. And yeah, I'd say it's probably one of the biggest things up there that I've learned over the last few years to have and to invest in is a really good tripod. So the third thing I've learned, and this is quite a recent one really, don't use filters if you don't need to use filters. And that's something I've learned really recently, if I'm honest. Only since transitioning over to the magnetic system have I realised this. Whereas before I would be led into using my graduated filters before I'd even set up the composition. I'd already be getting out my grads and putting in exactly what I needed before I'd even set everything up. And that can kind of hinder your images and also kind of hinder your creativity with your images as well. So our cameras nowadays are so good, like they're so good, and it's only since using the magnetic system have I realised how good this camera really is. Modern day cameras, their sensors are fantastic, they really are. I'd say about 95% of the images that I've been posting in the last maybe 3 or 4 months have been taken with no filters whatsoever, no exposure blending, and just single shots. Every now and again, if I get a very, very bright sky and I need to blend the foreground with the sky because it's so bright and the contrast between the highlights and the shadows are vastly different, will I exposure blend. But other than that, the sensors are so fantastic that they can capture the detail even when you think it's not there, and you can pull it all back later on. And yeah, it is something I've recently learned. Like I said, I would always get my grads out and start setting everything up before I'd even got a composition set up, before I'd even got the camera out sometimes. And it can really hinder your images, and it can hinder your creativity if you're just thinking solely about your grads and not what's in front of you. And speaking about what's in front of me, it's stunning this morning. The sky is absolutely magnificent. It really is stunning. Like, it is glowing red right now, and I'm really struggling for images because although this is a fantastic location and I have 360-degree views of the landscape, I'm struggling because, one, I have too much humidity. And what I mean by this is it almost looks like there's mist down there, but it's not. It's just covered the entire landscape in like a blanket of haze almost. And it's very difficult to pick out compositions, intimate compositions or wide compositions, because everything kind of just looks soft and it looks muted, and it looks like, almost looks like the shadow slider's been lifted and the black slider's been lifted and everything's been muted. So it's very difficult for me to try and find a shot right now. But this leads me on to my last point. Have no expectations when you come out. And again, this is something I've recently learned, because if you have no expectations, then you're not going to be disappointed if you don't come away with anything. So this morning I'm out watching this magnificent sunrise. The colours are fantastic, everything about it is brilliant, and I'm happy to just stand here and just watch it and let the sunrise unfold and come away with no images, because I'm the only one stood up here, I'm the only one taking it all in, I'm all by myself. I'm out with my camera doing what I love doing, and that is the biggest thing about landscape photography, is just being outside and being amongst nature and just watching moments like this. It's a bit like that other morning with that cloud inversion. Like I said, I could have just stood there and watched the whole thing unfold. I'm glad I didn't, because those photos were amazing, but I didn't have any expectations, but I went out and I got some shots that I'm really proud of. And it's very difficult sometimes if you're working a full-time job and you can only get out maybe once or twice a week. I fully understand that your expectations are you want to go out and you want to capture some photographs, but when you least expect it is when Mother Nature rewards you with wonderful conditions. And it's a bit like this morning. These conditions are lovely. The sky is just magnificent. The rolling hills of Dorset are just stunning. But I'm struggling for composition. I am struggling. I'm going to see if I can get something in the bag, but if not, who cares? It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Okay, one more top tip. Get outside. That's all it is. Just get out and get outside. That's probably the biggest thing that you can do to help improve your photography, is just get outside. I do apologise for the lens steaming up. It's very, very humid and I can't clean it off. My camera's the same, it's just getting very, very humid. Very difficult for photography this morning, but get outside. That is the biggest and best thing you can do for your photography. You can't take landscape photos sat at home, sat in your lounge just thinking I should have gone out. Just drag yourself out. And I know sometimes it can be really, really difficult, especially this time of year when it's bitterly cold. You really just want to stay in your nice warm bed and not go out traipsing around a field in the freezing cold in minus temperatures with your camera to take a photograph. I fully level with you, but if you do, it will help you, and it will help your chances of getting something super special. This morning is one of those mornings where I haven't really got anything special. It's nice to be able to talk to you and tell you guys my top tips, but there's no photography really this morning. It's just beautiful. The sunrise is beautiful. Let's give you another little wipe. The sunrise was beautiful, everything about it was lovely. I just struggled for compositions. And now the sun is rising just over there and I can watch it come up and enjoy watching the world wake up. And that is enough for me to just be able to drag myself out and just watch the world wake up. I love watching the sun come up. It's the best feeling. It just instantly warms your body. It makes you feel good. It makes you get ready for the day, and then you can go back to whatever it was you were doing and get on with your day and absolutely smash it. But just get out with your camera and just enjoy it. If you don't get any photos, have no expectations, and you won't be disappointed with yourself. So there's a few top tips there that I've learned along the way in the last couple of years of being a landscape photographer, and hopefully they can help you get out and capture some beautiful images. So I'm going to watch this glorious sunrise. Probably not take any more photos because I can't take any more because the conditions are good, but they're just so hazy this morning, and it's making for very hard images, and everything looks soft. Everything looks really soft. I don't know if you can see down here, it just looks like it's glazed in like haze. Very hard for photography, but hey ho. So it's time to wrap this one up here. Nothing really special image wise this morning, just nice to be out, trying a few different compositions and just enjoying the sunrise, enjoying watching the world wake up is enough. It is enough for me. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. If you have, please just drop us a like, give us a comment down below, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do consider clicking subscribe below, and I will see you guys in the next one.